We are live and direct from George Wilson Podcast Studios in Washington, D.C., and it's another day, another episode of Black Broadway Podcast, man. Yo, thank you to everybody for tuning in, for rocking with us from last week, months and months before, years before even, man. We've been doing this and we are back, man. Couple of new and improved little technical things we're working out here, man. Listen, shout out to everybody joining me on these new platforms right now, especially Twitch and YouTube Live. We getting this thing cracking, man, all the way live from wherever you are to wherever we are, man. We moving it. Black Broadway Podcast, yo. As I mentioned prior to, these intro moments or the intro moment last week of just really coming back into the fray, the biggest reason that I'm doing this thing right now, man, is this Black August, y'all. Black August. Black August is a very important time. It's a very important month, and there's some real important principles that are attached to not just every week, but just in the entire month period. We're rocking and rolling now. I love it. Thanks to everybody tuning in on the Twitch stream, man. Come on in. We need those subs. We need that movement. Let's grow this community, y'all. Black Broadway Podcast from DC to the world. Let's get it, y'all. So either way, like I was saying, let's get back into our Black August thing and the importance of Black August. It's one of those moments where you really get a chance to reflect on Black revolutionaries. And as I said, the principles that are attached to it are what we're trying to build every episode of the podcast this month around. So the principles are study, train, fast, fight. And 5 weeks in August this year, so I threw a bonus one in for the crew. Celebrate, man. We're going to get busy the last week of August because, boy, we done made it through some stuff and we still going to make it. We can't be stopped, y'all. So, you know what I'm saying? It's great times, great things, a lot of stuff to talk about. Today is the second week, so we're talking about train. This is the principle that we're going to focus on this week. Last week it was about study, but it was also a bit of a reintroduction, so we really didn't get a chance to get into it crazy like we are about to get into train. But listen, train. What are you training for? What are your children? What is your community being trained for? And why are you training? Understand this, you know what I'm saying? Understand these things, think about it, get into it. Before we get into all of that, though, man, thanks for coming back in, man. You know what it is, man. I'm Akil Wilson, your host, also known as Black Broadway. And last couple of days, man, we was on a vacation, man. You feel me? Look, gotta have a little bit of joy in your life, man. We slid on out to South Beach. You see it, South Beach, Miami, man. We was out there. We did the ridiculousness and even ate some food on this godforsaken street of Ocean Avenue. I don't even know why we did that. No, I do know why we did that. So we wouldn't fall victim to alcohol poisoning / heat stroke. It was hot. Listen, hot out there in the Yami, man. Straight up and down, guys. It was on fuego. It's a beautiful town. It's a great place to go visit. Nothing about Miami ever made me say, oh, yeah, I'm going to stay down here for as long as possible. Nah, it's one of those places you're kind of glad to leave. You're glad to get there and you're glad to leave. Like Vegas, I don't really quite feel the same way about it. I'm just glad to get the hell out of Vegas. But Miami, I love and enjoy deeply despite its victimization by global warming and climate change and its rampant wealth inequality. I mean, you want to see people balling and going crazy right next to some of the poorest of poorness that you'll ever see. Yeah, just ride north in Miami. Just ride north from South Beach all the way up 7th Avenue or something like that, man. Shout out to all my peoples up on 95th. Shout out to my Ives Dairy crew. Shout out to everybody out in Miami, man. Big shout out to my homeboy, man, OG client, my man Jeffrey, and his fine establishment that is doing extremely well. The Office. Yes, sir. That's a live pick. You saw your boy out there. I was out there at the office, made my appearance. I'm glad, man. I was definitely inspired to make sure I made it there by rap shit. Shout out to Issa Rae, whole HBO. My man Guap Dad. I enjoy Guap Dad 4000. He's on there killing it. But it's a great show. You know, Issa Rae of Insecure fame, you know, got her hands as an EP director and just creator, should I say, of a whole new series based in Miami. And when I say it's based in Miami, that joint is based in Miami. Like if you watch thing right in front of where me and the wife parked our car to go to the restaurant that was right next to Brick, Bacon or Bacon, something like that, sushi, ceviche. Chef's kiss, man. It was fantastic. But shout out to the office. Shout out to my boy Jeffrey and his whole family, because that's their spot right there. They've been running that. He been telling me about this spot since he used to come to the shop, and I used to cut his hair on Georgia Avenue. HU days. Shout out my boy Jeff and Sankara Fashion Crew. They've been killing it from Howard University, man. They do their thing. So, man, hey, Miami, the office, craziness, good times, man. Like I said, wealth inequality galore. Miami public schools, oh my God, pull it together. I never seen more schoolhouses that straight up looked like jails. These joints look like straight correctional facilities. Like DC schools used to look like that too, because I remember it. It was very familiar to me from what, you know, old Dunbar used to look like. Or if anybody really from the city, anybody really remember Bruce Monroe, even the old Brookland Elementary School, which is like a super, you know, beautiful new, you know, gentrified building. Yeah, all of that shit used to look like Miami public schools, which is in shambles. Crazy, you know what I mean? Shout out to all my peoples at Miami Central, though. I rode past that joint. That was wild, man. I'm glad y'all made it up out of there. So, man, hey, Miami owes us nothing. You know what I'm saying? Me and the wifey out here riding through, man. We loved Miami. We had a great time, man. Glad to be back. Glad to be back to business. You get what I'm saying, man. You know what I mean? Hey, go ahead and check out my Instagram. You can go to Black Broadway at Instagram, and you can check out The Real. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Valley for making that song, because I really love that song. Took 20 G's and went to Miami. Swerve. You dig me? That was classic, man. We had a great, great time, man. But this is Black Broadway Podcast, and if you are watching this thing on YouTube, on Twitch, you see that we have kind of stepped the game up a little bit here, man. It's Black August, and we are making things happen in America, G. You know what I mean? We are out here trying to give y'all more content. This is the first of my, you know, trials with my new system here. Right now, we're just using our slides and our images. You know, we're going to get into dropping some videos. You know, I definitely got to drop some memes. Trying to have a couple viral moments out here, you know what I'm saying? Like safely viral though, you know what I mean? Not trying to go too crazy. But we're going to get not like monkeypox viral, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, digital viral. Not, you know, because you got to be clear about that these days, man. However, we back in our back August flow. We are back and are fully committed to, you know, pushing the culture forward in the realest and most genuine and most helpful way possible. That's the thing that we're about and always have been about on this show, you know what I mean? So it feels good to be coming back at this time and to be, you know, producing a show that is actually, you know, targeted towards, you know, the principles that this holiday, this time of reverence produces for us. First and foremost, yo, there are a lot of great sources on Black August if you want more education and more detail and really in-depth historical understanding of how and why this movement happened and began in the late 70s. I would say 1978, 1979 is when Black August really began to become a thing. If you look at Black Power Media, big shout out to Dr. Jared Ball, man, for really going from being a professor and still being a professor at the HBCU in Baltimore, Morgan State University, go Bears, shout out to the Bears. And Dr. Ball writing an incredible book that I enjoy greatly, which is The Myth of Black Buying Power. I'm sorry if I don't have the exact title, but to paraphrase, The Myth of Black Buying Power. And when you read this book, or you really take time to ingest this guy's research and perspective on why this economic prosperity preaching that a lot of people do as liberation theology for black people is actually the most disingenuous, most harmful, and really insulting approach to black liberation that is out here right now. And if you're really an intelligent thinking person, then you'll be able to pick this thing apart. Like one of my favorites said, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, man, if you don't understand white supremacy, nothing else makes sense to you. So if you don't understand that the trick of telling people that they can buy their way out is also a part of the trick bag that you're being put in, then, hey, you're going to be lost. You're going to be standing at Invest Fest with tight Amiri jeans on trying to look like a baller. But, you know, I ain't going to go too crazy on that. Well, that's a whole nother show, you know what I'm saying? But Dr. Ball is a resource. Dr. Ball is in touch and in tune with and has regular dialogue with original Black Panther members, formerly incarcerated members of all kinds of different organizations, not only the Panthers, because that's just one. There's dozens of organizations, from MOVE in Philadelphia to, you know, the Siafu movement, the People's Army, all of these things, the Uhuru movement, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in the show. All of these movements have existed for quite a long time, and they've all been in tune with the spirit of Black August, as started by George Jackson, Jonathan Jackson, and another brother who rarely gets spoken about, because George Jackson is always spoken on. But Katari Galden is somebody who we're going to talk about today, who really set it off for Black August and who deserves to be remembered and memorialized, and we're going to put it down in this episode so we all walk away from this thing knowing who Katari Galden is, man. I see we got Danger Mouth in the building. How do you spell his name? Dr. Ball, Jared Ball, Jaredball, like basketball. That's the doctor. His platform is BPM, Black Power Media, on YouTube, on Instagram, all across all the socials, man. Check him out. Great resource, great interviews. I watched the whole interview today with one of the elders named Mama Ayana, and she spoke on the original, you know, genesis of Black August, and we'll get into that shortly, and I'll tell you about how this all developed. As I said, this is George Jackson right here. This is one of the original founders of Black August. This is a guy who took it to, you know, he was incarcerated in in Soledad, California. He was in San Quentin. I apologize. He was in San Quentin. He was incarcerated for allegedly committing some form of armed robbery or something of that nature. And while he was incarcerated, he went and became more studious, sat down, utilized his mind, and became a prolific author, and wrote a book called Blood in My Eye. If you ever get a chance, read this book. George Jackson wrote a book called Blood in My Eye. Shortly after writing this book, right after writing this book, George Jackson was assassinated, killed, murdered, I'll choose the word assassinated, in the California State Prison by a correctional officer because they said that he allegedly was attempting to smuggle a gun in an Afro wig or something ridiculous like that. There's a whole entire scene of allegations that involved even Angela Davis was accused of being one of the people who were helping to orchestrate this thing. This led to her being on the run and her becoming a historical figure in the sense of the defiance and the resilience that she showed during her trial. George Jackson was incarcerated. While George Jackson was incarcerated, not only was he writing, but one of the pivotal events of his incarceration was his brother 17-year-old Jonathan Jackson entering the Marin County Courthouse armed with several guns. Him and several of his comrades, they thought it was a good idea to come to, or not even a good idea. They felt it was necessary to come to the Marin County Courthouse armed with these guns and demand his brother's release. However, a standoff ensued. At the end of this standoff, allegedly there was some type of deal brokered to where as though the brother, Jonathan Jackson, and his comrades were going to, surrender to the authorities, go to trial, and attempt to fight in that particular way. Didn't go that way. All these gentlemen ended up being killed. They allegedly hopped into a van and attempted to escape, and then police opened fire, and all of them are dead. I mean, how familiar does all of this sound, man? A lot of people, it's no survivors when it comes to these type of confrontations with the police. And historically, all right, this ain't just start happening. So this is the story of why George Jackson and Jonathan Jackson are the catalyst of Black August. Black August is strictly something that is celebrated and recognized by prisoners within the Federal Bureau of Prisons, perhaps nationwide as the word began to spread. But in real life, this is a California state prison thing, all right? Because of what the California State Department of Corrections did to George Jackson and the police did to Jonathan Jackson and his comrades, these brothers every August in the years following that, between then and 1978, when this began to catch on with the public at large, every August these brothers practiced these principles. Every August, all beef on the yard was shut down. It was study, train, fast, fight. All commissary purchases were suspended. If you needed something, you would get it from one of your brothers and on the tier or in your cell block. If you wanted to do anything, we weren't watching the radio. They weren't watching television or listening to the radio. It was all about reading. It was all about training, physical training. They had even come up with a system of martial arts that ultimately was banned by the California State Department of Corrections. Again, all of these things were acts of rebellion, but not about violent, quote-unquote, rebellion, because this was to honor the brothers who went down in violent rebellion and also recognize that, hey, it might be some more. So, you know what I'm saying? We might as well get on our P's and Q's, man. So George Jackson and Jonathan Jackson, their deaths in 1970 and 71, or should it be 70, respectively, for both of them. No, pardon me, it was 71. I'm glad I'm on top of it. I like having my information right here in front of me, too, to consult, because it's very important to me to get it right and keep it tight around here. So in 1971, George Jackson, at the age of 29, was assassinated. His brother was killed in 1970 in an attempt to free him, during his incarceration for this alleged armed robbery for $70 or something of that nature. So, after George Jackson was assassinated, again, the California penal system goes up. The inmates, they organize. As opposed to, falling apart and so on and so forth, they organize. They start getting it together. Black August becomes a thing. To this day, every year, over 300 inmates are placed on lockdown in the California state prison system. Over 300 inmates are placed on lockdown in the California state prison system if they possess any literature, if they're discussing a Black August, if they're heard planning anything around Black August, they're placed in lockdown or segregation. In 2016, this was referred to as organized gang activity by the FBI's National Gang Intelligence Center. That's how scared they are of people honoring these freedom fighters, honoring these brothers and sisters who really, really fought for, freedom in a much more tangible way. Like, the culture in America always like to talk about the Cowboys and rooting for not necessarily the villain, but I've grown up in the anti-hero era where we got guys who are like, I guess you could say objectively bad guys, like like gangsters or whomever, but you come to pop culture at least puts out media that makes you view them with a heart. Like, yo, you feel for Tony Montana a little bit. You know what I'm saying? When he's getting shot up and he's full of coke. You know what I'm saying? You like, damn, man, why you had to go out like that? So on and so forth. Like, everybody loved Tony Soprano and wants to, think that they're like some type of gangster suffering with suffering in therapy and so on and so forth. But in real life, those are assholes. Like, those aren't the kind of people that you want to emulate, G. In America, they give you these people, they give you these anti-heroes, and they tell you, like, emulate them, believe in them, rock with what they doing. Meantime, we got real heroes out here in the world that actually fought for freedom, that actually gave their life for this thing. And, you don't hear nothing about them. You never hear anything about them. As a matter of fact, their memories are actively suppressed, man. So George Jackson, whose memory is actively suppressed all the time, but they can't hold him down because that's the power of the written word. Go read Blood in My Eye. Get that book, man. That book lives on beyond him. That's why I got to write me a book at some point in time because, a lot of things die, but, them words, they tend to live on, man. You know what I'm saying? But another brother who was really responsible for making this a nationwide thing, a huge thing. Very few people know who this brother is here. His name is Qatari Gaulden. I just heard of him just the other day, and I like to think of myself as being pretty well informed, man. Qatari Gaulden. The year is 1978. Qatari's in San Quentin. Qatari's been incarcerated for 11 years. He's been locked down for 11, so he's witnessed George Jackson and Jonathan Jackson's killings. He has seen the corruption of the California penal system and just the direction of the government from Reagan all the way moving towards their next governors and so on and so forth, and just the more conservative regimes taking over, the culture shift taking over. While that's all happening, this brother is one of the lead organizers in San Quentin prison and perhaps in the whole entire system of California. Qatari is one of the thought leaders behind making Black August a very serious time of commemoration and reflection and discipline. Made it a very serious point to be a leader in all of that. One day in August, ironically, August 1st, he was playing football at San Quentin Yard. He tripped, fell, and hit his head on a pipe that was sticking out of the side of a brick wall. He was taken to the infirmary with a severe head injury, a life-threatening injury. The doctors knew immediately that they were not able to help him. However, they did not move him to a facility that could have potentially saved his life because they did not have enough security. For one man with a traumatic brain injury, head wound, they didn't have enough security. That's how dangerous this man was to them. That's how dangerous they felt as though he was, that they could not even move with him unless they had enough security. We all know what that really was about, though. It was a tactic. So the authorities could see that he was gravely ill as time went on, and they were like, well, we just got to do something. Let's take him. Of course it was too late. Went to the hospital in Marin, California. Shout out to Marin, too. I've been out there, man. Beautiful place. The Bay Area is beautiful, man. But, the corruption runs deep, yo. It's crazy. Took him out there to the hospital in Marin County, Ross Hospital in Marin, California, for a brain scan. And after several hours of not being attended to, additional, Qatari died. All hell broke loose. Listen, that went so crazy literally shortly after that, Attica took place. Like after all this happened, like everybody, the walls blew off of the prison system because people were aware that these are like state sanctioned killers that they allowing to happen. You know what I mean? And this is why we do Black August, to celebrate these people. Let them know that their lives were not in vain. Let these men know, man, that they was fighting. We were pushing for a reason. Although, hey, we got some powerful enemies. So you can't ever underestimate the struggle or think that it's anywhere near over, because it's not. My man Qatari knew this. George Jackson knew this. Mumia know this. Mutulu know this. Man, shout out to this brother right here, man. That's Qatari one more time. See, you see this brother on the yard. They wanted him dead. They didn't want this man alive. They didn't want this brother alive. They didn't want this guy's influence on the yard. That's not positive for them. They don't want to see this. They don't want to see organization. They don't want to see that type of level of militance, that type of level of discipline, that type of level of control displayed by, people who ideally in their minds should be captives, and captives for, an indeterminate amount of time. A lot of people are political prisoners, man. A lot of people been living their lives, man, in the hole, under the box, for no reason whatsoever. Case in point, this is Albert Woodfox. Pardon me. Yes, this is Albert Woodfox, man. R.I.P. Just recently passed. He was the longest serving inmate in solitary confinement in American history. This man did 43 years in solitary confinement. You don't do that because you're a problem, because you're a killer, because you rape and molest. You do that because you are a political threat. I say that again. People do not sit in solitary confinement for 20 plus, 30 plus, 40 plus years because they pose any physical threat to anyone. That is purely based on political and, what's the word I'm looking for here? For lack of a better way to state it, exemplary purposes. This is what we will do to you if you put up the level of dissension and insist. And this is what Albert was really famous for. And this is what his hallmark, this is what he should be remembered for. Not breaking. If you continue to roll in this whole entire thing and you deal with all of it, everything they throw at you, and you don't break, it's infuriating. It's infuriating to them. And I'm of the opinion now, this man did 43 years in solitary confinement. I have not been alive 43 years. This man has been in my whole entire life in solitary confinement. Was freed in 2016. He just made transition 3 days ago on Friday, I believe, man. Rest in power. But, they took his life. They took his life, man. They took this brother's whole life, man. And that's not to be lightly regarded. This guy's life was taken, all right? And that's not something that you can, disregard. Don't say, oh, they let him free. They free people, in my opinion, at the end of these type of tenures to lessen the impact of them being incarcerated for so long. They free these people in order to hope that their memory can somehow be forgotten, to not make martyrs out of them, to not turn them into symbols of what mass incarceration is really about and the real cost and the real price of it. I'm glad my brother got to come out here and experience freedom for whatever it's worth for the last few years, But, they didn't do us no favors. Don't ever think that. The call is always free them all. What's the call? Free them all. But let's not ever lose sight of the fact that they took them from us in some very crucial moments. We needed Mutulu Shakur. You know what I'm saying? We needed Sundiata Acoli. You know what I'm saying? We needed Dr. Ball. Hey, real talk, Deja. They'll tell you, we do what we want to do with you. Your body, when you become property of the state, you are property of the state. You're just that. And they will treat you accordingly until which time they feel as though they cannot. Man, I mean, I think that's the most nefarious thing we got out here is mass incarceration is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like, it's so many people locked down, political and otherwise, you know what I'm saying, crimes of poverty, crimes of, convenience or inconvenience, as it were, that, I mean, the prison industrial complex is brimming, is teeming. And it's a powder keg that's ready to explode. You know what I'm saying? Eric Adams know what time it is. Yes, talking about you and that Rikers situation up there in New York City. You know what I'm saying? So many things. Just one major thing goes awry out there. It's going to be biblically problematic. You know what I mean? And that's just one of those things that, again, America loves dealing with problems. America loves putting out fires. You know what I'm saying? Very little money invested in fire prevention, though. Not a lot of smoke detectors going around. A lot of fire trucks, though. Not a lot of smoke detectors. You know what I'm saying? So have fun with that, guys. You know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all want to do, knock yourselves out, man. While I'm sitting here, man, talking about people who represented, people who were, men of their time, you know what I mean? Albert Woodfox definitely represented on the inside and on the outside. This is definitely a big deal to me because this guy, I never seen Bill Russell play a lick of basketball in my life. But all I knew about this dude from the second I saw him, this is a man right here. This man is not having it from nobody. Like, Bill Russell looked like he would probably slap the hell out of you. But also not slap the hell out of you just because he know that even though you deserve this backhand, I'm just going to talk to you like somebody who needs a swift talking to, man. Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are pictured to my left or my right as you see it. Those three men, super important to me. Super important to me, man. Those are my favorite. Those are like my favorite three athletes right there. Period. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to throw AI in there. I'm going to throw Iverson in there. And, of course, as a Knicks fan, I'm going to throw Patrick Ewing in there. Patrick Ewing's a great guy, but what those three, and I'm going to add AI in there too, what those four men stand for, to me, existence. You know what I'm saying? But in your own way, all three of those men, all four of those guys showed a lot of resistance to whatever bullshit anybody was trying to tell them that they should be about or should do. A lot of perseverance, pushed through all of that. And then managed to be great, man. Bill Russell, 88 years old, I believe, man. Transitioned peacefully. Rest in power, Bill Russell, the man, yo. Even though you played for the Celtics, you know what I'm saying? We don't do no Celtics. But shout out to Bill Russell forever, all day. Yo, speaking of basketball, come on, man. Do I have to hit you with another free? Do I have to do another free BG? Because it's definitely free B Jizzle all day over here, all right? Free BGZ, Lil Doogie, BG from VL, you know what I'm saying? Original Hot Boy, all right? Just first, I just want to get that out the way. That's my man, 100 grand. This BG, free this BG expeditiously, immediately, right now, today. You need to let Brittany Griner go right now. However, she's unfortunately not a political prisoner in this country. I mean, I could say fortunately, unfortunately, that could be viewed in a couple of different ways. However, she's not a political prisoner in this country. She's in her own different, separate hell. I mean, I don't know what brand of gulag they got her in, but I've watched enough documentaries about Russian prisons to know that is not nowhere you want to be at all. I'm of the opinion that she ain't do it. That's just how I feel. I don't feel like she did it. I don't feel like she actually had cannabis oil in her briefcase or suitcase going to Russia, as if she hasn't been to Russia dozens of times before as a professional athlete and doesn't know the drill over there when it comes to drug laws and their strictness. I mean, I don't see that type of thing being just a mistake that's casually made or even non-casually made. Like, if I'm going to Russia, dog, I'm going through the luggage 18 times. I promise you. Yes, I like to smoke. You will not find a seed. You won't find a sheet, a seed, a stem. You will not find nothing ever in my bag if I'm moving through the Eastern Bloc of Europe, all right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not made for it. I saw, if you ever saw this movie, Claire Danes was in that joint called Broke Down Palace. That joint, I was good on. That joint scared me for life on international drug smuggling. Like, they caught her. Well, she got caught up with something somehow, some way. Her and her friend was trying to smuggle some dope through somewhere, like Singapore or something like that. She ended up Philippines, something. She ended up in one of those jails trying to, plead for her innocence, man. Sleeping on dirt floors behind bars with animals in the yo, I ain't want no parts of that. And I can only imagine Russia is worse, where they, really are running this thing with military, concentration camp, pardon the expression, type, precision there. Craziness. Meanwhile, back in the courts or in the trial, because this is such a ridiculous, trumped-up charge, even if it were true, now the U.S. is in a position where they have to, or the popular sentiment says that a prisoner swap, is what's necessitated. That sounds crazy to me. That sounds absolutely crazy. Like, first of all, this person should not be freed. I mean, should not be jailed. Secondly, there's no other diplomatic remedy that could be offered other than a direct prisoner exchange for a basketball player, and the person that they try to get out is literally, quote unquote, the merchant of death. It's wild, bro. Wild. I mean, just do a little slight dive on the guy who they trying to free up. It's kind of funny. It's not funny, but it is funny because, like, this dude is like straight up a killer, and she's like a 6'9" power forward. It's like, yo, what are we talking about here? But at the end of the day, man, listen, politics is politics. They gonna play this thing all the way out to the end. I doubt that she does 9 years. 9 years is nuts. I don't see no way in the world that she could actually be incarcerated for 9 years. However, they might just play this thing out for a couple of years until, they can make it work, because I don't see a way that the United States of America gives up this, this prisoner who apparently was a coveted prisoner of theirs. This is somebody they worked really hard to get somebody who accidentally, allegedly stumbled into their country with some weed, with some oil, cannabis oil. Come on, fam. The math ain't mathing. None of it's working. I appreciate everybody that's, trying to appeal to the Russian government, et cetera, but I don't think they're not hearing any of that. None of that's going to work. So whoever's a diplomat, whoever's got their direct line into the Kremlin and who handles those type of negotiations, man, work that out, G. You know what I'm saying? Get BG home to her peoples, man. And, okay, this is the biggest point that I'll make about BG. She's a political prisoner, too. She's a political prisoner because I can recall during 2020 when the height of George Floyd and all of that, Brittany Griner actually quit the WNBA, dropped everything, you know what I'm saying, to go out here and work to get someone else freed up from incarceration. Very active in the social justice scene during that entire time. One of the thought leaders. So all that vocal is going to get you, going to get you jammed. Like that's what I say. Like, look, I mean, whenever like 48 people, whenever like it's like 52 people watching this or something like that, I'm like, yo, there's some agents out here wilding. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine when when the community grow, because that's what they do. They infiltrate communities, man. Infiltrate communities, something crazy, all right? And all of these people who are the worst actors are actually, they find themselves in the best positions all the time, constantly. And these are the people who have the worst behavior. This is not deviant behavior Brittany Griner is locked up for, all right? If anything, it's a very, very careless oversight that you should be punished for. But I don't even believe that's the case. I believe that you're a political prisoner because of the stances that you took during the social unrest of the past couple of years. And now that you're an athlete, you're someone that can be made an example of, and it's happening. So, free BG, both of them, all day. You get me? Like I said, boy, these actors, man, acting up. These boys acting. I watched this weekend and had a blast, fam. Oh, my God. Train wreck. Woodstock 99, yo. Like, this kind of feeds into my point of what I was talking about with Brittany Griner. With the worst people are oftentimes the people who allegedly you don't expect, or they're just kids, blah, blah, blah. Hey, listen, I was just a kid in 1999, all right? I was a young high school kid. It was Woodstock 99 was something I wanted to be at desperately. I used to watch Wild MTV. I love Korn. Like, nah, man, Jonathan Davis is a G. I rock with Korn. I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Love, all right, with a capital L. I could tolerate Bush. You know what I'm saying? Who else was on the bill? I know we all have seen the epic DMX performance, man. When DMX literally, it looked like this man had the whole entire world saying, stop, drop, shut her down, open up, shop. It's one of my favorite moments, one of my favorite DMX moments. R.I.P. to the dog, man. That's my boy, man. We can't believe DMX is dead. That's crazy. But anyway, this joint right here, I'm looking at it, and it talks about how this shit went entirely off the rails. First of all, it was a shit show from jump. It was a money grab from the second anybody said go. All right? The guy was there to make money. The promoter who partnered with the original creator of Woodstock, who was the guy who owned the name and who owned all the licensing rights, et cetera, et cetera. Both of these people are not good people. They did not strike me as people who had values. Let's just say that. They were down for the bread. And they came out there and they were like, look, we're going to throw this concert and we're going to do it so that nobody can get in for free. Ain't going to be no damn peace, love, and freeness over here. You going to pay $100 for this ticket at least. And when you get on in here, we charging you $4 for water in 1999. You know how crazy that is? 99, I don't even know if I was drinking bottled water in 99. I might have just started drinking bottled water in 99. I'm going to keep it a buck. We was some water fountain kids back in these days, you know what I'm saying? But it's 99. It's Y2K. Everything's different. It's the future. We had Woodstock 99. Everybody wants to have their fun. Bro, because it was so hot, so poorly organized. It went off the rails. And not only that, and this is the point that I was trying to make, the people who caused it to go off of the rails, whose animal instincts and anger and whatever got the best of them, was who? Young white males. Again, wildin'. We've seen this so many times. It's so much so to the point where it's like, it's just regular behavior. Like if a hockey team wins, tear the fucking club up. Football team win, burn the fucking town down. Whatever, we'll build it back up next week. All of this crazy shit that they do on a regular of expressing this type of rage leads you to having things occur like January 6th. If you look at this documentary and watch how this thing devolved and fell apart, I'm looking at a whole bunch of people who, if they was 20 then or 18, 19 then, they like in their 40s and people. These the motherfuckers that was climbing the wall. All right? These are them. And this is their same kind of environment. It's the same kind of energy. Yeah, let's go. They can't tell us what to do. Fuck it. You know, we're in charge. You know what I'm saying? We're taking back the power. All of these narratives that they create to make them feel like somebody wronged them when they did. I mean, hey, the world that they've chosen to create is a harsh place. Dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Uncontrolled. But when these things turn bad, all those people turn feral. It just doesn't seem to be an organizing influence to come in and say, yo, from within, saying, hey, we have to calm this down. We got to get this under control. Man, they ended up calling the National Guard, state troopers, excuse me. It wasn't National Guard quite. One step away. State troopers to get your peoples out of Woodstock. Silliness. Great documentary, though. You should watch it, man. It was pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you get to see how much of a douchebag Fred Durst was, too, man. Yo, Limp Bizkit, man. Don't ever let that shit come back, man. Fuck Limp Bizkit. Forever. Speaking of fuck Limp Bizkit, fuck these two assholes, too. Man, this is an infuriating story, and this all ties into a couple of points I'm trying to make here. These two assholes here literally spent the better part of a year, maybe two, trying to plan and seriously put together scenarios, game plan, kidnapping the governor of the state of Michigan. Again, kidnapping a sitting United States governor because they're mad about mask mandates, because they're mad about restrictions, because they feel like they're taking our freedoms away. They're trying to take our guns. They're going to take our guns. It's fucking idiots. They're doing all of this while their organizations, which are no less susceptible to infiltration than ours, have been infiltrated. They're doing all of this. One of the guys who's planning the whole thing with him, whole agent, cold snitch, FBI agent, got the whole thing, just watching this, participating even in this whole thing happening. Then it gets to the cusp, you know, people get arrested. Party over, guys. Come on, chill out, relax. People get arrested, people get tried. A jury of their peers in front of a mountain of evidence, phone calls, text messages, recorded video recordings from the agent actually in these situations with these people. Two of these guys, there are four of them, two of them get acquitted. Outright acquitted, not guilty, who in their trial, the jury could not reach a verdict, so we're having a retrial using the defense that this is entrapment. Yeah, we were going to kidnap the governor and probably kill her, but you trapped us, bro. You weren't supposed to. You couldn't catch us like that, man. You're supposed to catch us the right way. Which, again, brings me to a huge point. The rules are only in existence for us. Yo, they don't play by any kind of rules. As a matter of fact, whenever the rules aren't benefiting them, those rules are getting changed immediately. So welcome to the show. Listen, this is how it goes down out here. This is what these already got acquitted. They scot-free. These dudes are facing a second trial. There's no reason to believe that this second trial will go any different than six shit is a joke. Like, yeah, you can give those assholes time. They deserve it. A lot of those people are idiots and definitely deserve whatever time that they get, because what they did was just unreasonable and stupid. Like, I used to work in the Capitol, G. You're not getting away with shit in there, all right? We seen you. That was dumb. So you gonna get this time. You need to just sit down for being stupid. Meanwhile, these dudes are actually plotting domestic terrorism, plotting it, planning it, conspiring, should we say, to commit domestic terrorism, and they getting retrials and acquittals. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people really tried to kidnap Big Gretch. Look at this. They tried to get this white lady out the paint. One time for Big Gretch, I don't know who did the Big Gretch rap, man. It was a dope ass joint. It was one of my Detroit boys. That shit was funny, yo. You know what I'm saying, man? Big Gretch is out here, you know, just being a Democratic governor of a very, very rappers. You got Flint, you got all of that, and then you got Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like, in that mid, it's a lot of backwardness. You know what I'm saying? That shit could be Alabama. It's just cold. It's snow. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different type of thing up there. And there's more than enough militia action and shenanigans on a whole nother scale to get you, you know, through the day in Michigan. Big Gretch up there just trying to make a little bit of sense of it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe slide in spot to get, you know, to be vice president one day or something. Yeah, I see you play, Gretch. I see you. You know what I'm saying? You got a hard road to hoe, though, because, like, the peoples up there don't like you, man. They tried to kidnap you, G. You know what I'm saying? It's not, and she made a good point, too. I will acknowledge this. You know, the way the media talks about it, the way that the whole thing has been framed is like, yo, this is a kidnapping plot. This is a kidnapping investigation. Like they was like going to kidnap her and like hold her for ransom or something, but like, you know, make her hold up a newspaper and be like, oh, we want $100 million. They was going to kill her ass, G. She's right. She said they were going to capture me and execute me. And I'm like, damn, Gretch, that's dark. But you right. You know what I'm saying? You not wrong. The people was not going to let you live, and they were going to make an example out of you in the worst way possible. And it's like crazy to me because these are the same people that like are like, oh, people in the hood are animals and da. And you're like, yo, you see the type of violence, the type of harm that they plot on people that they have political disagreements with? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, this ain't somebody that, like, you know, hey, man, he ain't hit your baby moms. Like, this dude ain't, you know what I'm saying, like, call you out at a party or something like that and slap you with a pistol or something like that. We don't like you. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't like you. So, therefore, we are going to plot to kidnap you, torture you. Whoa. It's just, like I said, it's too dark for me, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't know what Big Gretch going to do because I think those boys coming home. So you're going to have to, you know what I'm saying, going to step that security detail up a little bit. It's going to be all right, though. You know what I mean? I think that the United States, this trajectory here, we still got a little while for this thing to devolve to where it's fully going. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, these guys here, all right, January 6th guys, MAGA guys, all of these people right here, they are very, very, very much scared. They don't know what's about to happen right now. Like, look, Trump is getting his crib kicked in. You ever live on a block where they used to kick in doors all the time? Like, I can imagine that's how the people at Mar-a-Lago is feeling right now. Like, damn, man, I live in the ghetto. Because, yo, I know that's how I used to feel, man. They used to kick the door in, like, 3 times a week when I lived over there by Heck and Jamal, G. It was no questions. A door was coming off the hinges on the block of H or I or 17th or 18th every morning. And it was going to be like a million police out there and, you know, all kind of police vehicles you never seen before, all kind of craziness. And then by like 9 o'clock in the morning when all the kids is about to go to school or whatever, they gone. Like it was no trace of them. But, man, they ran up in Mar-a-Lago with the smoke this weekend. So, I mean, hey, potentially we could be having court cases against their beloved leader. And one thing about America is court is not an answer to anything, or litigation or any of that is not an answer to anything, but it damn sure slows some shit down. Slow some shit down. Slow it down to a crawl. Sue them niggas. You know what I'm saying? Slow it down to a crawl. Let's get them tied up in court. You know what I'm saying? We got a trademark infringement. We got a copyright infringement. We got something. They did something that we need a judge to look through. So we need to put this on a docket, and we need to just slow this thing on down. Meantime, your man is looking at this as somewhat of a gift course. I think that's a little generous. I don't think this is really a good thing, you know what I'm saying? But if anybody could spin it into a good thing, so Donnie T, man. It's one of my favorite memes, yo. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to see old Trump wiggle his way out of this one. Trump wiggles out easily. You know what I'm saying? Regular. You know what I mean? This is what your man does. This is what he's about. So, you know, all things amusing in that realm continue to develop. I don't think we'll ever be at a lack for, you know, things of that nature to talk about. So, you know, we can just keep that thing going. This, however, always gets glossed over, and it was so crazy because, you know, I was watching CNN. I'm, you know, doing my little CNN surf. I watch a lot less CNN these days, but I'm doing my little CNN surf, and this right here is the Uhuru House. If you ever heard of Uhuru, correct me if I'm wrong. I know, Danger, I know you got the answer to this. Uhuru means for the people, or, you know, something of that nature. In I don't want Swahili. I'm going to get the exact metrics on that because Uhuru is an important word, and this party is an important party in the sense that this is an independent organization of African socialists led by a lifelong activist named, my man's name is Ras Yeshitela, and this brother has been an activist basically his whole life. He's been doing his thing. He's been basically speaking against the United States of America in a sense of, you know, the corruption, the racism, the inequality that it has shown to black people and people of color almost since its inception. Yes, Uhuru is Swahili for independence. That's what it means. Independence. It's a big point to be made with that. My man, independently, has been saying all of these things and talking all this shit for his whole activist life. Just last week, allegedly because of some ties to some form of Russian named I know of, they raided the Uhuru House in St. Petersburg. And they arrested Rosnet Yeshitela, and they said that he's an unindicted co-conspirator in what they're investigating as a Russian disinformation campaign. Fuck out of here. Like, seriously? This man, they're accusing this man who's been doing this his whole life. This brother's 80 years old. He been doing this his whole life. They telling my man that, yo, the Russians is the ones that's making you say all of this stuff. How ridiculous is that? And as I said, his home was raided by the FBI just like Donald Trump's was. I'm looking for that story on CNN too. It's so crazy. I saw it with my own two eyes. It was about a 3-4 minute segment at the end of Anderson Cooper's show where he's not on this week. He's on vacation. At the end of that show last night, I go on the CNN website. This article is nowhere to be found. This video, this blurb with a good 40, 50 seconds of the Ross talking. You know what I'm saying? Very well-spoken black man from St. Louis, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Regular nigga, for real. But he been about it for a long time. He's speaking. He like, man, I've been doing this shit my whole life, man. I was saying all this before I ever met a Russian. You know what I mean? But it just speaks to the larger point of, yo, they coming for you. Coming for you. You talking crazy? In our realm, if you talking about anti-imperialism, you talking about unity, you talk about independence, oh nah, we coming for you, my guy. Unless you a part of this machine here, we are coming for you. And they use all kinds of pretexts to do it. All right? There's been political prisoners for as long as there's been politics. There have been people in every society who have been deemed too dangerous to the public because they will upset the apple cart of what the status quo wants to be free. And that's a real thing, G. And you got to adjust your mind, train your mentality to understand, yo, we got to stay free. Not only do we have to stay free, we got to stay active. We got to stay actively engaged and not allowing, you know, these narratives to corrupt us. You know what I'm saying? Like, during the month of Black August, during this time, as we focus, you know what I'm saying, on the principles and so on and so forth, as we see and recognize, you know, the patterns, you know what I mean? The question always remains, and this is a question that I always want to ask everyone, or that I want to pose to everyone, to all of our listeners. What are you training for? You know what I'm saying? What are you working out for? We always, all of us are always training for something. This brother been doing this his whole life, almost to the point where it's kind of like a badge of honor in a sense. You know, FBI kicking in my door, I must be really kicking some shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, yo, I'm sure you have to prepare yourself, or he has, and thankfully, you know, he's lived a long life, but I don't know his whole story, but you know, you have to prepare yourself for the possibilities of incarceration. You have to train your successors. You have to properly disseminate information to those that's coming behind you so that they can be properly trained, so that they can train those that's coming behind them. We are all always training for something. We are all always working on developing, you know, better approaches to problems that are as old as time, man. And in order to do that, you got to train. You got to discipline yourself. You got to develop skills. You got to devise systems. You have to train, yo. This brother right here, his organization, the Uhuru movement, disciplined. People that's about making moves, about doing things, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, as we just starting this stream, man. This is one of the first streams, you know what I'm saying? I'm so glad I got my screen up, man. I want the community, I want to be flashing pictures of the gang over here, you know what I'm saying? Like, people, not talk about people that got to do something, people that are doing something. People that are taking this thing in a direction. People that have been training. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it like, I'm looking at this particular month even. I'm glad I got to have my little, you know, vacay week. Man, Lord knows we needed it. Because it gives me even more motivation and even more, of a, I guess for lack of a better word, excuse to go on this detox, this full cleanse, this full realignment of how I'm going to approach this thing, how I'm going to approach the future, how I'm going to discipline myself moving forward to keep this thing as active and as strong as I possibly can. Because that's what training is about, man. There's ways to intentionally train. You know what I'm saying? It's not all about doing push-ups or doing pull-ups, even though it's going to be a lot of those. You're going to see this bar work, all right? But it's not all about that. It's actually about just simple things. Read. Train your mind. Train your mind to, instead of watching a show or watching a video or a TikTok, engaging in that, just read. That's training. That's hard. I mean, listen, Muhammad Ali used to always say, I hated every minute of training, every second of it. I ain't like none of that shit. But I wanted to be the champion, so I knew I had to do it. That's how the game go, gang. This is just what you do. That's what you do. Make it a lifestyle. Make it a part of what you do every day. Show some discipline. Lock in. Hey, we training. We locked in. This is what we're doing. Me, I'm one of those people, it take me a long time to start something, but when I start it, I can't quit. I can't stop until I've reached some form of completion. And I've been raised to think that that's not actually a state of being. So I don't really even trip off of that either. You know what I'm saying? I just enjoy like being able to say that I'm doing something, I'm pushing towards something, I'm moving towards something. And a part of that is just like a cycle. If I'm always doing something, then I'm always training to do something because I'm going to be doing something next. So it's just that cycle. It's just that cycle. And as I said, I was raised to feel that way. I was raised to think that way. So a big part of training that I also think is very, very important is paying homage, man. Pay homage to the ancestors. You know, a big part of this time, this Black August right now, all the brothers that I spoke about earlier in this program, all the points that I've been making, it's about paying homage, man. I'm not the first person to think these things. I'm not the first person to realize this. I'm not the first person to broadcast it. You know what I'm saying? So I realized that I come from a long tradition and a long line of people who fought for these freedoms and these rights. You know what I'm saying? Who spoke out on these kind of things. And hey, I wouldn't be anything without those who preceded me. So we always keep that in mind. And in order to, become better versions of ourselves and in order to glow up in the way that we want to do, we got to, acknowledge those past. You know what I'm saying? And the next best thing outside of acknowledging the past, acknowledging your ancestors, is teaching someone else. That's training too. Teaching someone else. It's funny because I personally am about to start a journey of learning to be a better and more effective teacher, trainer within my trade, within my skill set. Yeah, I know how to do it. And that's something important. Now, I can do it with my eyes closed almost. But can I teach someone how to do it? Can I teach someone how to do it well enough that they can do what I've done and go out here and feed their kids and take trips and, wear fly sneakers and, eat every day and, whatever it is. Purchase property, buy real estate. Whatever it is that you want to do. You can make that happen. You have the skills, you have the physical capacity to make that happen. And if you learn the relevant skills, it'll be a breeze, so to speak. But you got to put it in. You got to put the work in. You got to train. So for me, learning how to train is training. It's training. We all training for something, G. And the last thing, the best part of training, which I want to emphasize I need to do this shit myself, seek some help. Get a trainer. You know what I'm saying? Best shit, the most important shit about training is you might want to get a trainer, G. I am not opposed to seeking help, guidance, mentorship, tutelage, all of that. I'm looking for it. As a matter of fact, I'm actively seeking it. I want to get so nice with this Twitch shit. I be watching Twitch streams. Like I'm looking at mine right now, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm about to step this thing all the way up. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm leaving these streams up here because it's going to be so much more streams, and I want you to see the evolution. Like right now, I don't even have a poster up here. That's ridiculous. But it's going to be posters up here. It's going to be art. We just getting started, all right? We just getting started. We just getting this moving. This is a community. This is not about me talking. Eventually, again, I watch mad Twitch streams. Chat box me. Hit me up. Let's discuss. Get it off your chest, because I know. See, over here we do the news. Like I don't really got time to sit here and talk about, Khalees, Beyonce and shit. I mean, yeah, that's interesting in its way, but that shit ain't. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't got time to sit here and rap about, what Joe Biden is doing or what. But what we can do is break these things down that's really affecting us right now on the block, on the streets, in real life, and come up with creative, effective approaches to these problems, G. We can train ourselves to approach problems and approach situations that's uncomfortable for us with a lot more strategy, with a lot more cunning, with a lot more optimism, because we can win. One thing my wife like to say, we can do hard things. We can do these hard things, y'all. And we can do this shit together. Because, I mean, hey, y'all done seen this come up, man. Y'all done seen this thing come from my living room at my little apartment. I only had one room. One bedroom apartment, my one bedroom joint. You see me come from there to doing it at the shop, to doing it live at Marvin, doing it live at Big Chief, rooftop pools and all kinds of shit. And then you see me go back to the dining room table, and then come back to the essence, to the refresh, to hit a hard reset. And now, boom, here we are. George Wilson Studios, nigga. And it's still we rise. It's not going to stop. It's not a destination, it's a journey. And we train it every step of the way. Every single step of the way. What are you training for? What are you training for? What are you training for? Like, within ourselves, even if we can't verbalize it, shit, I talk a lot and I can't really verbalize it. I can't really tell you what I'm training for, but I know I'm training for the life that I want. I'm training to be important to my family, to my community. I'm training. You know what I'm saying? And we all in training, man. We all working. We all Twitch, I'm going to get this affiliate status, all right? I'm going to get this affiliate status. We're going to get these partners. We're going to get the partner status. We're going to get these subs. We're going to talk this shit. We're going to have this community. We're going to do these streams, yo. Because, I see that now, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it is. This is where the action is. Not just Twitch, though. YouTube. Not just YouTube. Facebook. Not all platforms. Not just Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever. All platforms. Anywhere that people are choosing to divert their attention, that's the best thing about this internet and all of that, man. Hey, it's not a book. I don't have to, put the internet in your hands. You already got the internet in your hands. I don't have to put the internet in your house. You got the internet. You know what I'm saying? Soak up some of this radiation and get outside with me, man. For real. Hey, we going to do this thing, man. Revolution is not televised, but it might be podcast. Just going to let you know. Black Broadway, we the real. And we here to do the real, man. I got off into my training, thesis statement, the body of what I was talking about here. And I'm mad I didn't get a chance to talk about my boy Wap, man. And locked up the Wap, man. I don't know why I got a soft spot for Fetty Wap, man. Fetty Wap was the soundtrack to some of the best goddamn times ever. Like the 1738 era, if you wasn't having fun in that era, I feel really sad for you. If you didn't go out and literally lose your shit when any song started, 1738, what? I feel bad for you, G. Man, fucking Trap Queen, what's the other joints? Any other joints that he did? What's the joint? You know the songs. I know them if I hear them. I don't know any titles. It didn't matter. It was a Fetty Wap song. Once you heard my man hit that little note, you was in there, man. And my man got bagged for the fentanyl. Come on, Wap. He got a mean fentanyl bricks case, something crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, look, them Robin jeans wasn't paying for themselves. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what Wap was doing. But I know he got a case. And they told my man Wap today, I believe they remanded my man to the custody of the state, locked the boy up, because he allegedly told somebody he was going to murk him on FaceTime. What? We locking niggas up for sending emotional threats on FaceTime? I mean, listen, if that was a thing, I know a couple people that should be doing life, all right? I don't know, man. I don't want nobody. I'm a prison abolitionist in my own way. I don't want nobody to be in jail except maybe Mystical. That nigga need to be in jail. That nigga's a rapist. But outside of that, a lot of people, it's on a case-by-case basis. Fetty Wap damn sure don't deserve to be in jail for picking up the phone and telling somebody he was going to murk him. Last year. They said he did this last year. They said, my man, they caught up to him apparently, whatever. They said that's a violation of his release agreement. You know what I'm saying? Apparently you can't even talk spicy in Jersey. Well, you shouldn't be talking spicy if you got a fentanyl case anyway. But you can't even talk spicy on papers in Jersey. So, free to Wap, I guess, man. 1738 all day, man. Shout out to my gang. That's all these guys drink. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a whiskey guy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just what I do. Boy. Oh, man. And while I'm talking about whiskey, I definitely have to send a big shout out to these people right here, bro. Because they got all the whiskey / tequila / all controlled substances, whatever, out of my system from Miami when I went in there today. You talk about training. My wife loves the yoga, man. Big shout out to these folks. Black-owned Bikram hot yoga situation where, you really, the room, my dude, it's a funny story. First time I went with her, she said, hey, I do hot yoga. I was like, I done yoga before. I be hot as shit at yoga. So, hot yoga ain't no different. I'm already hot. She's like, whatever. Okay, yeah, cool. Come on to the class. You know what I'm saying? I'll pull up at the class, man. I got my little T-shirt, my little tank top on, my little yoga shorts. I'm ready to bust a move. I walked in the room, and I walked right the fuck back out. I was like, ain't no way. There's no way in the world. Like, what the fuck is this, a furnace? Y'all got the heat is literally on 104 in this room, yo. And we're in here doing all types of warrior poses and sunrise salutations and all kind of craziness, G. I made it through that first class and did not die. And after that, man, it was just kind of like a little buzz. It's a good feeling, G. And I hadn't been in a long time. This is when me and her was dating. So I was really trying to impress her, like, yo, I ain't no sucker who's going to die in a workout class. But also, I almost died in that workout class. So I was not in a rush to go back. That's her thing, though. That's her thing. I'm glad that, recently we were able to, get the membership so that, she can go as regularly as she wants. She's in class like every day, damn near. So one of the perks of membership is, the good buddy pass. So I got the buddy pass. I'm in the building. Bro, it was like I remember it. It was as I remembered. Hot, sweaty moments where you just don't even know why you're doing it, but you're doing it. And, when you walk out, you feel a buzz, like an otherworldly buzz. You know what I'm saying? Good way to cleanse your mind, cleanse your body, and also pull yourself into shape. I saw a lot of people in there, various ages, various body types, various cultures, all in there trying to get right, man. So, shout out to everybody over there. Shout out to Camille, I believe her name was. Worked us out. Great exercise session. Thank you for the personal email, you know what I'm saying? Finding our way, finding the edge to push through the workout. That meant a lot to me. I loved it all, man, for real. It was great. So just glad that, I've been able to live what I'm talking about and do a stream, do my damn thing, live my life. And, of course, we get back to the thesis, back to the essence, baby. Lay a brick every day. That's what we do over here at Black Broadway Podcast. We lay bricks every day. We building something over here. All the pieces count. Whenever you subscribe, whenever you follow, whenever you share, whenever you like, whatever, you laying a brick. You putting something down for a foundation. You putting something together that's going to be important. A house that's going to stand. A monument that's going to stand. You know what I mean? We come from a town full of all these, these monuments, full of bricks, full of monuments to people, schools dedicated to such and such, named after this person, that person, whoop-de-whoop, blah, blah. I'm like Erykah Badu, man. Don't name no buildings after me to go down dilapidated, all right? All I wanted to be known is that I laid down some bricks on a pathway. We can build something. We can put something up, but it's not even about that. It's about the stacking. Once we put something up, then you have to fill it. Then you have to make it. You can build a house. What's inside of it, make it a home. You know what I'm saying? What we need to do is get the building, G. You know what I'm saying? What we need to do is get to building. Get to building. Build this community, build this world, build this shit the way we want to see it. And I can pretty much guarantee you, man, like, once you start putting these things together, all them bricks going to fall into place, and then you going to see what it is you building. Then you're going to be there all day, man. Just remember, if you're not at the table, you're on the plate, all right? It's Black Broadway Podcast, live from George Wilson Podcast Studios in Washington, D.C. Late night stream. Again, I'm trying to get these numbers. Not trying. I'm going to get these numbers up. I'll be back on the stream at some point in time, man, later on this week. Y'all holla at me. Yeah, let me know what you want to see on this stream, too. Oh, man, we got to do some. We going to play some tunes, all right? Because they be Dakma and tunes, all right? So check me out later on this week. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow it. The schedule will be up. I will be keeping to this schedule. You will be able to look at the channel and see the schedule. See when we coming out. See when we dropping. Wake your girl up. Wake up, babe. This new Black Broadway just dropped. Wake up. You know what time it is, man. When you see us out here, know that we moving. All right? Black Broadway Podcast. Hey, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your stamina. Thanks for rocking with the squad. First stream of many streams to come. I'm going to bed, man. I'm tired. I don't know. I'm glad I ain't wake up the babies with all this shenanigans. Shout out to the basement. Yo, man. Y'all take care, all right? See you on the next stream. Peace.